So, last session, 2,000 years ago, uh, uh, obligations you don't want to take part in, but have to anyways. Anyways, session, all of you kind of were on the clock to come up with an answer that was different than effectively genocide in a way. Not really in a way, genocide. Um, through diplomatic relations that have been built over by Dr. Apricity for the longest time, with the Tholians were able to talk them down and were subsequently given a probably a once in a lifetime offer once this all concludes. Storming in, because you weren't very not necessarily trying to hide it into the vice president's office. There was a brief exchange of words before there was a double tap of a stun rifle. As maybe that you have the vice president in custody who is, at the very least, connected or suspected to be a leading faction of the Inheritors. You might be able to bring other Inheritor leaders to at least a diplomatic table for discussion. That is where we left off, and with this being the case, where do each of you find yourselves? What scenes would you like to have?
I mean, I'm sure most of us, Lance Corporal West, the Admiral, Aleska, and me, are pretty much escorting the stunned vice president to a holding cell.
And we have set up the holding cell in Gamma Ops so that it's the same force fields that we would use to isolate Omega.
Mm-hmm.
And before I say anything, I do approve of Lance Corporal West double tapping the vice president. It had to be done. That's strictly off the record. That's off the record. I approve of him double tapping the vice president.
Wes is sure that there's still going to be punishment from that. You kind of just don't shoot a politician.
Oh, that's up to the Admiral. What she says on that.
No, that's up to the Federation.
That too.
Yeah, that's up to the Federation. Unfortunately, Starfleet does not have any grounds on this.
Yeah, this is potentially like quite literally career-ending for West. So,
well, considering that it's not even the original vice president, you might get off lightly off on this.
Well, actually, I guess that's the question, because I was just about to ask: is it like, has the vice president been an Omega Q the entire time, or is this like, do they have the real vice president in a warehouse somewhere? Like, do we know?
And to that end, I think Aleska would track, through computer searches and stuff, track the vice president's movements to try and find out when she was replaced.
Apricity was going to be doing that exact same thing if you want to work with them on that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. One second. All right. This is a pretty thorough thing you're looking for, and you are very much aware that this is not going to be an easy task, because the vice president, though you've had your suspicions and secretive investigations, is not dumb and has, for the most part, been able to keep you at bay because everything is pretty circumstantial at that time. However, if you would like to search through records, history, places of origin, or visitations or anything, that is going to be
Our first extended task.
yeah.
Please God, let it be logic.
It's gonna be a
For
time.
reasons.
It's going to be an extended task, yeah. It's gonna be a little different how this is gonna work. It's not the worst extended task, thankfully, simply because of how things work out in Horizon Station. It is not a magnitude 5, so you're lucky on that. But it is a 3. So, while that is occurring, and either of you may roll it, but this, I'm going to rule that either one of you can be the primary roller and one can assist, but no two people can do the exact same task in this at the same time.
I mean, just based off of our various, just based on our various security clearances and skills, it would probably be. It would probably be better if you were the primary roller, and like Apricity is basically, is basically like narrowing down the bulk data for you to look at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and pointing out things.
Like, I'm just grabbing anything that, like, basically hits the right query and giving it to you so you don't have to look at the entire fucking internet. Or, space internet, whatever we have.
So, what would I be... Which attributes and disciplines would I be rolling?
You will be... This is going to be Insight Security.
Well, that's good, because I have an insight of 9 and a security of 5.
Okay. It'll be Insight Security, magnitude 3, and right now, this is going to be a difficulty of 4, and I am going to dump right away as I'm going to spend 5 points of threat.
Ooh. So, let's see if any of my focuses will apply here. Espionage?
Yes.
And, would the value time brings perspective to all things apply here?
Let me think on that. Hold on.
I also have not everything is as it seems.
That one's more applicable.
Okay, so I have 2 automatic successes, and I can only roll 2 die, but I have espionage, so so 5 or lower will be a crit, correct?
Yes.
Alright. You spent 5 points of threat.
Correct.
I will give you 1 threat for an extra die.
Got it.
Rolling.
Is there anything I can do to assist in this, or?
Okay. I got 3 10s, so I don't think I got a success at all. Oh, actually, yes, I did. 3 successes because it's 14 or lower because of 9 and 5 are my insight and security. Okay, so I got 3 successes.
Yeah,
And so that's, with my 2 automatic successes, that is 5 successes.
Okay, just to add on to that, Apricity, if you want to roll an insight security as well, same rating and difficulty, but just to see if, to add more onto it, you might be able to garner some information.
All right. Sorry, I can't find any d20s.
You're good. I mean, you got background noise coming through.
I don't believe I have anything, so I'm just rolling 2.
Yep.
Is a 4 and an 18, so that's one pass.
One pass. Okay. So that was.
But that pass. Wait, no, never mind.
Would the complication range also count for
The complication
apricities?
range also counts over for apricity as well.
So we got
I'm sorry.
one complication,
Yeah.
but we got six successes.
successes out of the 4 difficulty. So
We have 3 momentum.
yes. Where is the? There it is. All right. Digging through, Aleska, you have definitely been around people who are good at this stuff and definitely better than you at. Have even pulled a few favors from her in the past. But looking through, this is impressive work from fake authentication codes, IDs, history, all of this. This has been. Everything seems very standard and fine up until about. Up until about 11 years ago, things start to just be not necessarily fishy, but out of order. There are certain motions the vice president has made that kind of sparked controversy, where in her younger days she wouldn't have ever advocated for such things, and through the lens of looking through it as that's just politics, you would have just glazed over that. That's just how it is. But looking deeper into it, for someone who served in Starfleet before going into Federation politics, some of the harsher crackdowns onto Starfleet administration and officers serving or otherwise, you would think with that perspective there would be a little bit more leniency from someone like this. Looking further into it, there's probably one of the most interesting events was the standoff between the Romulans and Admiral Picard. There needed to be a motion to allow a fleet to be dispatched to that area. That motion was denied by her. However, it was overruled by a much larger majority.
Are there any records of her going on, like, vacation, any unusual activity at her home, a month or 2 prior to her starting to act out of character?
Yeah, actually, there was a diplomatic meeting. It was a high-profile meeting. One that did not get taken lightly, because this meeting was in the Gamma Quadrant. So something high stakes definitely went down there. It is a classified record.
Hmm.
And unless you have to put it in very simple terms, unless you have cabinet security clearance, you're not accessing it.
She has Alpha Omega Black security clearance, but I doubt that would work here.
No, nope. She's got something a little higher up than that.
Hmm.
You might be able to partially unseal maybe certain bits and pieces of it, but you would likely not get anything too useful out of it other than just the standard mission report. Effectively, the special operations of this is what happened versus this is what we're going to tell you. And you'll probably access this is what we're going to tell you.
So this might be a bad idea.
Oh, okay.
But when
I remember last time you said that.
Yeah, I no longer want to be standing here.
but we have record of the good admiral, the good vice president, I mean, using her authorization code, correct?
Yep.
I was standing right there, and I have.
Can I replay the archival footage of her using her authorization code during Administrator Fate's
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was literally standing, like my physical body was standing right there next to her when she did that. I could probably just tell you the code off the top of my head.
Well, that wouldn't work because we would also need her voice.
Oh, that's true.
But I want to watch. Aleska wants to watch that archival footage 3 or 4 times before she attempts what she's going to do next.
Okay. It's not too hard to access. I mean, watching the security footage is not difficult. You are privy to it, obviously. I think I know what you're about to attempt, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is also not going to be easy.
But she brings up that file again of the cabinet level file. And she goes to Apricity. I would very much appreciate it if this stayed between us, Doctor. And she is going to begin rubbing her throat back behind the vocal cords. And when she speaks again, it's the Vice President's voice.
Right. So you're gonna try and access using her voice through her security clearance, I guess. Yeah.
Aleska has done this in the past, but...
This one is actually going to be a presence command roll.
1 second, please. Bring presence is 10, and what's the other one?
Bluff the computer.
Presence command.
So that's 14.
This is still going to be a difficulty of 4 here.
And I am assuming espionage counts in this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I think I know the value to use here. My life has been more interesting than people know.
Oh yeah, that works.
So
You're just burning all the shit here.
So that's 2 automatic successes, and I am going to give you another threat for an extra die.
Fantastic.
What could go wrong?
I mean, they put the mechanic in the game. Might as well use that mechanic. So, rolling. A 10, a 14, and a 19. Remind me what cautious security does for me. I think if I buy a die, it means I can re-roll one die, correct?
I believe so, yeah. I'd have to double check, but I'm just gonna say yes for now. Because that book is massive.
Yeah, and I also have collaboration security, but I think that's only if I help someone.
Yeah, that's only if you help, not if you're receiving help. It's weird how it's worded, but that's generally how it works.
So I'm re-rolling one die. Nope, still 15. So that is 3 successes, I think.
3 successes. Okay, it was difficulty 4. This is actually where the complication's gonna play in here. Is your mimicry is an acquired and learned skill. It's done very well. And you are able to access at least the surface layer portion of it, the portion that was granted to media and stuff. But looking up on the file, there comes a effectively a security red alert within the file, and the file is immediately just blocked and stonewalled from you. That's not the complication. The complication comes as you are accessing United Federation of Planets administrative records. It will track back to this location. You have effectively 90 seconds to either cover this or just leave it be and deal with the consequences.
She will cover her tracks.
Okay.
Just like a certain intelligence officer taught her to.
Alright, this is gonna be... This one is gonna be present security.
Oh, that's good for me. That's 15.
This one is gonna be a difficulty
3. Would composure work here? So...
Does it help if one of my values fits here?
It would. Definitely would, depending on what values you have.
I guess the third or fourth one.
Which one do you want to use?
Does one fit better than the other?
One, I'm not going to tell you which one, but one is going to pretty much deal with the situation at hand in the immediate spectrum. That one will be a short-term fix. The other one will be a long-term fix.
Vague but helpful. Let's go with the third one.
Okay. Alright, so that adds to that. With a little...
Sorry.
The little assistance from Apricity, you'll have, so what'd you roll again?
I haven't rolled yet, because I was waiting to see what all I needed.
So, that would be the values, so that's added. It's a difficulty 3. And because you've been so kind to give me 2 threat, I think I'm going to use them right here.
So complication range goes to 18.
Yep.
And I get 2 automatic successes to
Yep.
Apricity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have 2 die and rolling. Well, a 4 and a 20. So that's 4 successes, but with a complication.
Everything's fine. We got this. Nobody's getting arrested. Well, except for who we want to get arrested.
Alright. You can effectively cover your tracks to this terminal and bounce it around a few other star bases before it gets here. Making the pattern a little confusing. You're pretty sure no one's going to be able to actively track this. At least not anymore. However...
And if necessary, Aleska can pull in some favors.
However, because certain officers, and even as well practiced as you are, leave digital footprints everywhere, this is where the complication comes in for you, specifically. And it is a short-term fix with a long-term consequence. Definitely, so long as you are fine with how this turns out, they can't ever really track or find you, or that it was you. The downside to this, should you ever choose to, now or in the future, access any of the United Federation of Planets administrative systems, records, library, archives, anything of that like, they will know who you are.
Understood.
Given the broad spectrum of this, just so Aleska has a good general understanding of how severe and risky this is now in the future, any favors you pull, they might do these favors for you. But that puts them at severe risk. These are career-ending risks and arrest-worthy risks, too.
Understood. But Aleska has also been in situations like this before, and has usually gotten out of them with a little bit of difficulty.
This one probably is, in your lifetimes, has been probably one of the most irritating ones that's ever shown up. This one will take years to recover from.
And she has those years.
Won't make it any less irritating.
True.
Alright. All that being said, you were able to get not as much as you would have liked, aside from verification that there is a space and time period where something changed. Being said, with all of that, Neshek, Captain Phillips, and Lance Corporal West, what are you doing in the station?
I mean, we did arrest her and got her in the vice president in the holding cell. So, I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me who wants to write that report, but there's another part of me like, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna write this report. So he's just going about his basic routine and drinking coffee.
Okay, you get a a chime at your door.
Who is it?
Admiral Vale.
Enter, Admiral.
She enters. She definitely, despite taking some of the doctor's advice, clearly hasn't been taking it as well. Sleep deprivation is still there a little bit. Well, we have one problem solved. Now we just have to figure out how to get the Inheritors to a table.
I mean, we could tell him that we have one of your members in our holding cell. Maybe that will flush him out.
Maybe.
I mean, if she's a high-ranking member in Inheritors, we mention the fact that we have her. Don't come running.
The question is, do they come running in a diplomatic fashion, or do they come with a fleet?
This is true. I mean, we could say that we just want to talk, and if we talk, we'll maybe hand over your high-ranking member. But we all know full well she's going to be tried and judged as Starfleet Command.
She'll be judged by the United Federation of Planets. As much as I would like to do any sort of prosecution myself, I don't have that authority, and no one in Starfleet technically does.
Admiral, if you did between me and you, I hope you throw the book at her if you had it.
Well, I have it memorized, but I don't think that's the same effect.
Huh. But the question is, how do we contact the Inheritors and tell them that we want to talk, and also slip in that we also have a high-ranking member of the organization? I also the same time hide the fact that we also want to arrest them and have them tried and judged.
If we did that, and there is a problem with that being having them tried is a administrative nightmare.
This is
The United
true.
Federation of Planets could not do it on their own. We would, in fact, require the Romulan Republic, the Klingon Empire, and a few other galactic powers. Simply because we don't have the resources to run that many trials. And I'm sure the Romulans would like to question their own, and the Klingons would certainly like to deal with their own loose cannons.
Yeah, we all know how they handle their loose cannons.
Well, that certainly isn't our business. My point being is, if we were trying to prosecute the entirety of the Inheritors, if we could get them, and I mean all of them, which is unlikely, that's 51,000 people.
Yeah, we'll be doing that for years, trying and judging every single last one of them.
People, they'll die of old age before it gets through.
If we even get halfway through, we'll be dead of old age.
I might just be dead of stress, or lack of caffeine.
That too. Oh, would you like some coffee? While
Nah.
I have you here.
Coffee, plain, black, no sugar, nothing.
Yep. So he will go to the replicator and get the Admiral exactly what she wants, and he will hand it to her. Here you go. Kind of figured you would need it.
Takes a drink and... Okay. I don't know what it is about Horizon Station, but the replicators are certainly better than the Titans. Well, I suppose rather than playing coy, we just simply tell them.
That we have her, and we just want to talk.
We deal with the consequences, one way or the other.
Yeah, but the question is, how do we get the communication out to them? A person who knows is sitting in our holding cell. I doubt she's going to get that information willingly.
Luckily, I think we have a cryptologist.
This is true.
Taps the comm badge. Lieutenant Commander Neshek, do you have the time to be in the captain's ready room?
I believe the only other thing I would have been doing would, because we're still concerned about the infiltration the Inheritors have into, like, our low-level systems related to power and warp core and such. But I can come to the ready room and go back to that later.
Right. Captain Phillips and Admiral Vale are both in the ready room amid a little bit of a discussion before returning to you. I hope we're not keeping you from anything, Commander.
Nothing I can't get back to later, Admiral. What do you need me for?
So, we were discussing how to get a message to the Inheritors and force their hand into at least a negotiative position. We certainly have, at the very least, a high-ranking member, if not a leader. The problem is how to deliver that message.
We are aware of probably not all the Inheritor ships, but at least the ones they took from Horizon Station. Correct?
Yeah, a fair amount of them. You probably don't have records of all the
the
non-Federation Starfleet vessels, but you definitely know there's different Starfleet vessels.
Different Starfleet vessels. We could probably get a few of the non-Starfleet ones if we ask nicely. There are two ways I'm thinking of doing this. One is basically pinging every Starfleet vessel that we know is in their possession. We just try to connect and send a welcome invitation, for lack of a better term. Whether or not they respond, either because of out of range or they lack the command structure to be able to respond to our invitation, we'll at least know we've tried to. The other is, rather than trying to individually target the Inheritors, broadly speaking, we intentionally try to leak the information. Whether there is another individual on the ship that we suspect to be part of the Inheritors, if they do not know already the Vice President's capture, we find a way to deliver to them, or we surreptitiously leak the information to the public at large and see if they come to us. And when I say public at large, I do not necessarily mean intergalactic news, but rather,
At the very least, the station and its massive populace.
the station and its massive populace, or for lack of a better term, private servers and unindexed communications. Spy networks, essentially.
I have a intelligence contact on Mars that could perform a facade like that. He's gonna hate it. He's gonna expect something out of it.
If that is the case, Admiral, I would be capable of the latter action as well.
I think we're all in agreement that they're gonna find out one way or another relatively soon, yes?
Almost certainly. If I could have access to the Vice President's terminal, I might be able to find another way of contacting them. But I suspect that the Vice President's terminal, in addition to whatever security measures the Inheritors placed upon it, I would also be contending with the Starfleet classification and security measures, which might prove difficult, especially given that I would be most likely not allowed to view materials at the Vice President's classification level. We would need to bring in a specialist, and I do not believe we have that kind of time.
No, we don't. Get the message out how you feel is quickest and most efficient. We'll deal with whatever consequences are to follow, whether or not they bite on the hook, as it were. At least we'll have an answer and what to expect. Ideally, they'll show up with a single ship and an envoy to negotiate terms and release, and we can do the same. More likely is we're going to have a small flotilla arrive.
Understood, Admiral. I will put the message out and monitor the Vice President's terminals for any unusual incoming transmissions if, say, the Inheritors attempt to reach the Vice President in the wake of this news.
Understood. Well, Lieutenant Commander Neshek, you have my full authority and permission to act without any sort of impediment by any other superiors other than the people in this room.
Understood, Admiral. And with that, I guess I will leave and get to it.
Admiral Vale turns to you, Captain Phillips, for a brief moment. And in case things don't go our way, I'm gonna be off station for hopefully no more than 24 hours.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take my ship and push its slipstream core to the max for any form of nearby reinforcements that we may get in case things do not go according to plan.
Mhm.
I understand this is going to be a tough thing overall, being captain of Alpha Operations, but for the time being, and we shall see if it sticks at the end of this, but for the time being I am giving you a temporary commission so you may have more authority to command any sort of ships or fleets need be. You have a temporary commission as of this moment as a fleet captain.
Admiral, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for this temporary shift change, if you will, and I promise I will not let you down.
Well, I'll try not to let you down either. Departs and... You know, Paco, that sounds vaguely familiar to something.
Not with this crew, please. No.
But,
I just got the job. No, please.
But, she leaves and you can get verification that her ship has entered Slipstream and is out of space. Lance Corporal West, while all of this is happening, are you standing guard? After all this recent events, what are you doing?
I would have gone wherever I was told to go. I kind of just, from his perspective, he just shot the vice president. He wasn't there for the conversation about what the vice president really was. So he's just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna hang out here and hope for the best.
Okay. Just wanted to check. Okay. Figuring out where everyone is. About 6 hours go by since the message was taken. It sends out before Neshek, you get a response. Very old-fashioned, all text-based.
Very well. Is
But
it
is
common in the book club, or?
No, it's more of it's a single symbol and a words on screen. It is the inheritor symbol with the simple words "We're coming."
I'll notify the captain and admiral immediately then. I'll also get to, I forget if we're based in Alpha or Gamma Ops primarily at this point. I know that the Vice President's being held in Gamma Ops, but I don't know if I'm still
You're
stationed in Alpha
primarily
Ops.
Alpha Ops still. Alpha Ops has the largest spectrum of ability of operations.
Okay, then I would get to Alpha
It's definitely the
Ops.
primary one, where the other ones are more tertiary.
Gotcha. Then I'll get to Alpha Ops and try to boost our sensors, that way we can detect as much as possible where they're coming from and how many, and especially with regards to any potentially cloaked vessels they have, if those are present. The second would be keeping a very tight monitoring on our critical control systems. So that's reactor, life support, etc.
Okay. Going up on scans, why don't we do a roll for Neshek here? Insight engineering, a difficulty of 2.
Insight engineering. 1 second. Let's see. What have I got here that might help me out? Pattern recognition. Those aren't sensors. I do have constantly watching for detecting danger and hidden enemies.
Yep, that'll work.
As well as technical expertise for using the ship's computer and sensors, so that's a reroll.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not programming anything, so that doesn't help me out here. Would a spaceship attempting to sneak by the space station count as physical infiltration? But that being said, I do have ignorance is dangerous as a value. So
That definitely applies here as well.
that probably works a bit better. 2d20 insight engineering. Oh no.
What just happened?
Bot dead? Did I kill it?
I don't know. Hold on. No, I just want to check really quick here. That's not it. Okay.
I try. Is it a slash now? Nope. Well, whatever. I'll just roll actual dice then.
That's why I like physical dice.
Huh. That's weird.
First is a 6. Second is an 18.
Okay. Well, he used your value, so it works. That looking at all the different systems and stuff, there's nothing that comes up as a red or anything alarming. As far as the exterior ship scanners and things like that, you definitely see one pop up. It's just a blip on the monitor, but you see one pop up, and you also see it on the viewing hollow screen immediately afterwards as it drops out of warp. It is not a Federation ship that drops out of warp first. It is a Klingon one. It is a Navarre class battlecruiser, which for reference is about the size of a Galaxy class ship, which is massive.
Don't like that they have that. Also, just for momentum purposes, I forgot that I could reroll one of those dice, so I rerolled the 18 and got 4.
Okay.
But I don't like that they have a capital ship. I was hoping they'd only have stolen smaller vessels.
You were greeted then, upsettingly so, dropping out of warp in addition, because it starts as one light, and then many. Just starts pinging many different dots showing up. Some are Federation, but some are noticeably alarming ships to be dropping out. One's a Sovereign class starship. The other's two Deuterics warbirds from the Romulan portion. There's a lot. It ends up ending on the monitor and on the scanners. 48 ships were taken when the Inheritors split. 2 were impacted on the station. You were looking at 35 of them, all spread out in a almost blockade fashion.
So if my 4th grade word problems taught me anything, it's that there are 11 ships unaccounted for.
Yep.
Neshek will begin getting as much information on the 11 missing ships as possible. I've already notified the captain and admiral about this, even though the admiral's at warp. I might go ahead and take the initiative and inform security and the various, I don't want to say sub-captains, but other captains, say in our patrol vessels and such.
Mm-hmm.
Apprise them of the situation.
you get a lot of affirmatives and a little bit of surprises, because some of them, this is their rest period. They weren't expecting that. Before you get a hail, being the captain is still in their
Being the
ready
calm.
room, though probably being made of the situation right around now. But you do get a hail from the... Not a sovereign, not any of those chips. You get... you get a hail from a slightly smaller vessel. It's not exactly the most graceful looking ship, all things considered. Looks a little bit like an Intrepid, but not quite. It's a Jaeger class starship, and that is where the hail was coming from.
I'm suspicious when you say Jaeger, because wasn't that the name of that crazy AI? Or AI that they made crazy? Am I misremembering?
I thought that was like Beowulf or
That was
something.
Beowulf.
Oh, that's
Experience.
Beowulf. I mean, Jaeger in the very literary sense, but no, not in the way I'm thinking. Okay. I'll pick up the phone.
Right, on the phone, god damn it. I didn't even catch that until just then. But the what comes up on the holo viewer is human woman, definitely a little, definitely tattered up blend of Starfleet attire with maybe Klingon paraphernalia. It's hard to tell, given how the holo feed. We received your message.
Understood. If you would not mind holding for a few minutes.
Please, we're not going anywhere.
Okay. I'll put her on hold.
Okay. What's your plan?
I know that the captain or admiral is going to want to talk to someone here, but in the meantime...
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Neshek, out of character, Admiral's off station.
I know Admiral's off station, but I'm thinking, I don't like... Neshek is not the negotiator here with regards to the vice president's release.
Yeah, you're going to need the new fleet captain for that one.
Yep. Alright. Upon receiving and arriving in Alpha operations, Captain Phillips, the woman on the holofeed, looks patient as they've been muted, put on hold, and deafened, basically. They're just waiting.
Okay. I'll tell Neshek to go ahead and unmute him and undeafen him.
Okay. I will take her off hold.
This is Fleet Captain Jackson Phillips of Horizon Station. How may I help you?
Well, seeing as we're here, and I believe we both know who each other is, at least in affiliation respects, I think you asking how you might help us is a bit of a redundant and useless question.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, how can we help each other? That's the question. I have something you want, and I know and I know you have something that I want. What I want is for us to sit at the negotiation table, and what you want is the high-ranking member of the Inheritors that we have in our holding cell. Am I correct?
Old earthen phrase, but you've hit the nail on the head with that one. Sure. Negotiations. I'm open to it. I'm confident that both sides would prefer to not have a shooting match. And though my
Yeah,
side is likely, in all things considered, as much as I loathe to admit it, would likely lose in a firefight against your station, you would sustain heavy casualties.
yes. So everybody would be losing
Well,
on
some
both
less than
sides.
others.
Yeah, and we don't need that. So let's set up a time that we can all sit down together and negotiate and have peaceful talks because
As I said, I'm willing to negotiate under a few strict conditions that are non-negotiable.
depends on the conditions.
Neutral area.
Of course.
Not Horizon Station. I will not be...
No, it wasn't going to be on Horizon Station. I'm not that stupid.
Still room to guess.
So where did you have in mind?
Well, I don't trust going to Horizon Station. You certainly don't trust going to one of my ships.
Of course. So let's just find a neutral area that we can both agree on. Any place in particular?
Let me think. There's a planet, M-class, about 2 light years from here. At maximum warp, both our ships could be there inside of an hour or two.
I mean, we can do that. That definitely works. Any other concessions that you have?
No security teams. Each will be granted, in fairness, 2 members to act as security envoys. I'm not
And that's,
unreasonable, and it would be
of
unfair
course,
for you to not bring your own personalized defense as it would be for me.
of course. Anything else? Or is it just those two?
She's pondering for a bit.
Out of character. Oh, I hate it when they ponder. Puts me on edge.
One final condition.
Mm-hmm.
As far as our ships go, I think it would be best for both sides to be put at a handicap should a shooting match occur near the planet. Each of our ships will only be helmed by a skeleton crew.
That is more than fair.
Yes, it is. And for any potential releases, do make sure you have your political prisoner ready for release should we come to some sort of agreement.
Of course. But the question is, how many ships are you bringing to the negotiation? Just your ship? Or you're bringing a few others?
I'm bringing simply my own ship.
And I will bring mine.
Well, then it seems like we're in a fair accord.
Of
I will
course.
get packing, fleet captain. I've given you 2 hours. The hollow fades. The Jaeger class kind of leans off and just whoops away.
I tap my comm badge and I say, Alpha, so all senior staff and Lance Corporal West to Alpha Ops immediately.
Understood.
Copy that.
Lance Corporal West suddenly sweating bullets upon hearing that. Anyways,
Oh no.
Oh wait, he doesn't know. He doesn't know I got promoted. Oh, all person who knows is Neshek. Next person who knows that the captain just got promoted.
anyways,
It's like a running joke that Lance Corporal West just knows nothing.
anyways, upon getting to Alpha Ops, sparing any sort of needless repeat exposition, you're all informed of what is occurring. And Neshek, you've been present for the whole thing.
And Corporal West doesn't know anything, and Neshek hears everything 3 times.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting for everybody to report in.
So, just for understanding for all of you, the USS Hera, your ship that you can use, that needs to have a skeleton crew of 20 for it to be operable. It can operate on less technically, but that's stretching people thin.
There's also no way in hell we're bringing less people. We should bring as many people as we can.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, 20. Yeah, forget that. No.
There is a way around that. Does the Hera have hollow emitters throughout the ship?
The Hera does have hollow emitters, yeah.
We could take our 20 and supplement the rest of the crew with holograms, if necessary. And the holograms would not show up on sensors.
This is true.
The ship does have an EMC.
I'm gonna ask this before Neshek suggests it. Apricity, do you show up on sensors as a life form?
Ask that same question.
I don't know, do I? I mean, Apricity would know, but I don't.
You're a very specific type of artificial intelligence in which,
like I'm not quite
would
as
show up, but not really life. It'd be kind of like this yes but no situation on scanners.
yeah, because I'm not like a real Sung type android.
No, you're a little bit more advanced than that.
What if we just utterly dehumanize Apricity as a person, bring 10 million copies of them, and be like,
I don't like. We always joke about me just fucking booting up my backup if I die, but I don't know if my backup is on station or if it would have to be shipped in. We could theoretically have 2 of me running around if that's on base, but not
no, I don't.
an army, unfortunately. and they are also clearly unhappy with the idea of just using holograms in that way, but they don't say anything about it.
Well, the holograms would basically be acting as emergency crew in this situation. I just thought of Apricity because of that, and I don't know, the Securitron army underneath New Vegas, but
That is also where my mind immediately went
How
to.
do the two of your brains always go back to New Vegas? Anyways,
because you see, we're in sync with video games. We both played Morrowind at the same age, and ever since then, at least as far as video games concerned, Zaz and I's brains are of a like mind.
this is the weirdest mind meld. Anyways,
Yeah, but anyway.
Do we have a hazard team on station?
oh yeah, you have to. It's a big station.
Got no choice.
I'm specifically I think you know I'm referring to Lieutenant Tuvok's thing.
You kind of have something like that. Not exactly, but you definitely have something similar.
Would it be a bad idea, Captain, to have hazard team accompany us as part of the 20?
I don't see why not. Oh, before I continue, Faith, have I told everybody that I got promoted or no?
They can see the pip. It's not that hard to tell.
Yeah, that's fair. But
It's kind
yeah,
of also just a lot's happening, and they can't. Acknowledging it is truly not the highest point on the pedestal.
they'll acknowledge it later. Yeah. But yeah, we can do that.
Aleska will tap her comm badge because she is chief of security of the station, and she will go, hazard team to Alpha Ops.
It takes them a little bit to get to Alpha Ops, even via Turbolift, simply because the hazard team section is located on deck 300. As they are definitely a weird group of people, that's for sure. Couple of humans, Rowan, one Ferengi, and Ryan, who is a little bit out of sorts, given that she holds the rank of a lieutenant commander. This is a weird call.
It is a weird day, but weird is part of the job, Lieutenant Commander.
Ryan simply nods to that because she truly doesn't know what's going on yet.
In an exposition, we info dump on Hazard Squad.
So,
Yep.
just pulling out of a small little kit pouch and just unwraps. Be pretty sure it's a candy bar of some kind. Just starts snacking away on it. So what you're saying is you want to bring the hazard team in case things happen there, but also to act as what I assume as a secondary engineering crew should the Hera need extra strain. Is that what I'm following? Okay.
Pretty much.
We will be supplementing most of the crew that will be not there with the holographic emergency crew.
Okay. Have you considered this? And I know this is maybe you have. Sorry, I'm not gonna remember your name. I'm on deck 300. You're up here, and I'm sorry again because I'm not gonna make the attempt to. But the hollow emitters, then, if you're supplementing with what is the amount that you're going for? Because you're gonna burn them out.
We can only bring a skeleton crew with us,
Okay.
and you will be part of that skeleton crew.
Okay. Liking this less. If we wanted to add a holographic crew, and if you want it to be as usefully functioned and spread out, is to have different holograms perform different functions and not have a singular hologram spread out throughout the ship. That creates the most effectiveness and the less amount of latency. However, I wouldn't say add more than 30.
Just enough to keep the ship functional. It doesn't have to be a full complement.
This is where you're gonna have to make a choice, though, when it comes to a crew like that. If something goes wrong, they can only focus on a certain amount of things when it happens, so either it has to be more defensive or more offensive. You're gonna have to sacrifice one, probably. You can probably do both, but it'll cost. Something like that always does, especially with the skeleton crew, and with a ship as big as an Akira class, it's risky.
Well, the ship we're going to be up against, and I tell them the ship class.
A Jaeger class.
A Jaeger class, the Hera will have the advantage, even with a smaller crew.
Okay. That's all in theory, though. Okay, well, I've voiced my complaints, and like many other captains and chiefs of engineering, we'll see what happens.
Have hazard team ready in 20 minutes to depart.
Yep, I haven't heard that in a while. Heard stuff about mushrooms and vegetables and weird things being grown, but this is new.
First time for everything.
Yeah, no, not really. I'll go get my team. Alright.
Oh, by the way, it's been a year. Has Aleska's replacement for her rifle come in yet?
Good question.
It has.
Ooh.
Okay, so she will take that with her when we leave.
Yeah.
Alright. The hazard team, the Orion, who clearly seems to be the leading unit of this hazard team, definitely looks a little sleepy. Definitely maybe because of the time, because if you were to look on the chronometer, it's 0200.
Yeah.
So maybe a little crabby.
Yeah, so basically, it's going to be the Skeleton Crew, Havoc Team, Aleska, and Lance Corporal West. Going to be my security. They'll be going with me on planet as my security envoy, just those two. Everybody else is going to remain on the ship.
Mm-hmm. The hazard leader, she returns, is not wearing the upper portion of the uniform and is instead traded out for just a simple, like tank top. I'm not gonna get reprimanded for this, right?
No? Why? Why
Okay,
would I
just making
recommend
sure, because I've had captains that get a little nutty about stuff like that.
No, you're good.
Let me guess, Admiral Jellicoe.
No, actually, long story. Doesn't matter. If it were a different condition, I would suggest bringing my ship, but seeing as how the negotiation went out, it makes sense to bring the Hera.
I mean, if your ship can cloak, we can bring your ship.
Mine can't do that. Mine's
Yeah, no.
Mine's
if it
Parliament
could
class.
cloak,
It's not meant for that.
yeah, I mean, if it could cloak, I would love to have your ship there as backup. But I do have Admiral Vale on standby.
No, the
Just in
most
case.
I have is a illegally smuggled Orion black box. Anyways,
But yeah, from what the Admiral told me, if I need her, I can just call her and she'll max out her slipstream and show up.
mm,
Just in case things go bad.
even at max slipstream, that would take a few hours to reach us, in which case it'd be too late. I would maybe save that for something more dire.
Yeah. But at least we know we have that option.
Alright, well, I guess we're boarding on to the USS Hero to make an incredibly stupid and historic decision.
Yep.
Indeed.
You should, she kind of pats you on the shoulder as she walks through, like, the boarding area. Just pats your shoulder. Should maybe work on that, Captain. And then just goes in the hall.
I'm saying nothing else. All you see is a defeated sigh on his face. Like, well, let's go make history. Is the rest of my senior staff with me by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I said this out loud to all my senior staff. Well, put Anchor's Lance Corporal West. He's temporary senior staff because I do have that right. And I'm saying, well, let's go make history then.
Alright, taking your... The bridge of the Hera is very much sovereign in its appearance. Having the captain's chair and 2 other chairs off, and then tactical and science stations. Is anyone willing to take the con here?
Am I driving again?
I think we all agreed that like nobody here is capable of driving other than Neshek.
Neshek. Yeah, that's why no one spoke up on that one. Yeah, my con's a 2. No, sorry.
My con's a 1.
My con is a 3.
My con is still 4.
looks like Neshek's driving. And Apricity can back up just in case.
I can make sure we don't crash horribly.
Captain, when I say that I never expected to be on the helm of a starship nearly half as many times during my Starfleet career. But regardless, I will take my position at the pawn and boot everything. What did I, in the brief time I had, what did I learn about the 11 missing ships? Because that is Neshek's primary concern about this plan. Is that especially given that they chose the planet, is that those ships are already there.
You could not locate anything there.
So we don't know anything about the 11 missing.
No, the 11 missing ships, you couldn't find anything. And you know for a fact that you are going into this effectively blind.
Oh, that's lovely.
I guess another question. What are we doing with the vice president? Like,
she's sitting in a holding cell. We aren't bringing her, but she's sitting in a holding cell right now.
And Aleska would have made sure that all the force fields for the holding cell were primed for Omega as well.
Yep.
Yeah, like I'm just concerned about. I mean, we can detect, them beaming aboard or them trying to beam her off.
Okay.
I don't know. Neshek is very much not a fan of this. But I'm driving, so here we go.
Punching it to maximum warp. And with enough prep time, you get there in about a little over 2 hours. Not exactly 2 hours, but the Jaeger class ship is waiting in a high orbit, and you get an immediate hail response. For you, Captain Phillips, as it ends up, it's the same human woman who Now that the hollow feed's not making it hard to see, probably is wearing kind of a makeshift, what probably once was a command uniform, using some Klingon attire to patch work some pockets or maybe holes that have appeared. Definitely more mercenary in appearance. And what was that about Starfleet being punctual?
Well, was getting my skeleton crew ready, and the
The point of a
prisoner.
skeleton crew is to make things fast and efficient.
Yeah, well, skeleton crew are cadets. What do you expect?
Oh boy, okay. I need you to roll me a presence command at a difficulty of 3.
Oh boy, do we have any momentum or no?
You should have 3.
Yeah, we
Okay,
have 3.
what I
And
put on?
you know what?
Oh no, I already know.
All the
I
threat's
said,
gone. I just spent it.
but still, oh no.
I did give him threats, so.
Yep, and I spent it against you. So there's 5 left, and I just spent it.
Okay. I'm lucky I have extra dice. I got pretty dice too. So I'm using point of momentum for an extra die
Mm-hmm.
to save my play. So get it. You said presence command.
Yep.
That should be fun. Okay, so I need less than 14. And what do you know? I have it. I have a 12, an 11, and a 10. Altogether, my present command is a 14.
Perfect.
So
All right. And you avoid any complications. With that being said, you can rest easy for the time being that I have no more threat points to spend. However, she
I
does.
can't rest easy though.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. He sits there and kind of looks through, leans closer, slightly, making somewhat of a judgmental face before leaning back. Well, for a bunch of cadets, they seem well composed.
I stressed how important this was, and I didn't want any screw ups. So they're composed, but deep down inside, I know they're probably nervous.
Nervousness is good. Fear is good. Means you want to live. So, planet side then.
Of course.
Shall we say 20 minutes?
Well, it gives us enough time to beam a table and some chairs down.
Well, I would say 5, but we know how that'll go for you. View screen's off.
I ain't saying nothing, but at the same time, I'm getting pissed. Because deep down inside, I know for a fact she just offended me twice. But I kept my composure, surprisingly.
As per your agreement, you're allowed to bring 2 people as your own personal security detail. For such
Yeah, it's Aleska and Neshek. Not Aleska and Neshek. Aleska and West. Oh, I'm bringing. 2 I'm bringing. Neshek's going to be on con, and the Apricity's going to probably sit in the cemetery until I come back.
And I will have only my. Did they put any limitations on
Nope.
our personal weapons?
They
Nope.
did not.
They did not.
I have my rifle and all 3 knives on me.
Because they messed up on that one, but not. Remember
The only knife that's visible, though, is the one that's strapped to her lower back. The other 2 are in the heels of her boots.
Got it.
Right. So I know Aleska's going to be armed. What about Lance Corporal West? He's going to be armed at all.
Yeah, West has the body armor on. He has the collapsible phase pistol within reach, but he's also going to be with a phaser type 2 or type 3 rifle.
Okay.
Well, Captain's bringing his. I'm bringing my Type 2 phaser, of course. Yeah. I want to bring my rifle, but I don't know. I might. Screw it. I'll just bring the rifle just in case things get heavy. I'll just bring my rifle. And I will go, and all 3 of us will go to where we have the Vice President in holding. And so that's going on. I would tell whoever's running engineering, which would probably be some of the Havoc team, to beam down a couple tables, some chairs.
Okay.
I want to be least hospitable on my end.
Alright, you do so and beam me down to the planet. So for an M-class planet, this is... It's very... muggy. It's almost jungle-like. There's definitely a lot of life moving around, but you are able to locate, the other party.
Here's a question before we get too involved in this. Is there a way to have like a personal force field around the Vice President so that they can't just beam her out? Or at least at the very least a scattering field to prevent the transport?
You could probably just have a tricorder active doing that. However, it wouldn't be quiet, and you would definitely not have had the time to modify something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, now, but I'm
You can do that. Just be aware that they're gonna know that you're doing that.
All right.
But yeah, you do find the other party in sort of like a clearing. It's not a nice clearing. The ground is a little uneven. But hey, you brought chairs and a table. Well, I thought you were kidding about the chairs and the table.
Nope.
Standing hard?
No, I just want to make sure both players are comfortable, you know? I think you'd rather be sitting instead of standing.
I'm comfortable with either, but seeing as you went out of your way to bring them... Getting all set up. And just so I know, Aleska, are you actually doing that with the tricorder or no?
No, because she knows she has a alternative method of stopping a transport if she needs to.
Okay, sounds good.
Because she can do the same thing with the rifle again, like she did in the station.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so we're sending the Vice President down there with nothing to prevent them from just grabbing her and going?
We got this covered. But yeah, I'm sure we'll stop her from leaving. But
wait, I'm sorry, did I miss something important? Why are you bringing her down with you?
Yeah, I didn't realize you were bringing her down with you without having the disruptor there. I thought it was, can we take her out of the holding cell on the ship and, like, you know, have her there as a power play, assuming we can disrupt it. I think taking her down there without having that active is an incredibly bad idea.
Do we want to retcon that? That's you guys' choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's retcon it and have that.
It's either that or West rig something that will go boom on a transporter signal. So
Yeah.
I was also thinking about that like way earlier, like a bomb collar type situation, but like that doesn't seem like Starfleet style. We'll save
Nope.
that for a game or something.
Well, here's the thing. Aleska is technically, even though she's in Starfleet current time period, if you think about it, Aleska is still technically a Roman.
I guess so.
In her,
That
in
might
her
be more their
thinking.
style.
We're just doing Fallout New Vegas all over.
Stop doing
God damn
that. Okay, so that's retconned. However, you are present at this negotiation. All right. Well then, I suppose we should begin.
Of course. This is gonna be a long negotiation. This is all me saying out of character. This is gonna be a long negotiation.
At some point, I would like to drop the bomb on them that their leader is not who they think she is.
You can't say things like "I want to drop the bomb on them" in the middle of a negotiation
Do that.
when we have a warship parked in orbit.
Exactly. And wait,
But
Okay,
I would-
but like on a more serious note, is there a space whistleblower website that I should be googling?
if not, there should be.
probably the ethics department.
That would be that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, obviously,
Or at the very least, Eternal Affairs.
both would apply here. The person across from you, Captain Phillips, she's not speaking initially. She's kind of just eyeing you up and down. Makes a pretty neutral face of some form of judgment before speaking. Well, then we should begin this negotiation.
Of course, that's why we're here.
Obviously, I want a member back, and you don't want us to have them. So, what can you offer that's a decent compensation for something like that?
Peace of mind that none of you guys would go to jail.
You see, that's not really leverage. That's more of a threat, and that doesn't really help.
No,
your
that
current
wasn't a threat.
situation.
That was a threat. I was just saying we can't actually physically try and judge you guys because we'll all be dead by then. By the time we get halfway through, so what's the point?
Yes, except the Federation likes making points, no matter how long they take. Administrative ones, Starfleet ones, either way. Forgetting all of that, barring Federation, Starfleet, empires, governments, all of that. What do the two of us come to in this moment? And that's the important factor.
Well, we would like to have half our ships back,
Oh, I'm sure you would.
but I know you won't hand them over.
I'm very
So-
comfortable on mine.
Well, you can have yours. I want the. Well, we'll split down the middle. You keep 5. You keep. Well, you have what? 11 ships. We take 6. We'll take the remainder.
We have 46 ships in total. And as far as taking ships, that's a whole separate negotiation that has nothing to do with what's happening now.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be included in this negotiation.
Because a trade is based upon equivalence.
Well, I think we might have something
Oh,
that
really?
might equivalent to that, and I will point to Aleska, so they can drop that bombshell.
Forgive me for this question, but what was your rank in Starfleet before you left?
Lieutenant Commander.
I will, therefore, take out my regular tricorder, not the one that's emitting the scattering field, and I will point it at the vice president.
I thought you said the vice president.
The vice president's not here.
Oh,
We never brought her down. Do you want me to bring her down?
No, I
We
will.
can't have a quantum vice president. Is she down there or is she on the ship?
We retconned her. She's still on the ship right now.
Okay, I misunderstood.
You're good.
Yeah, she's just sitting there right now waiting for the trade negotiation to end.
I will take out my tricorder and activate the hollow emitter that's in it, and show the woman the information about the vice president being from the Omega continuum. It appears that your little group is a farce, Commander. You are being played for a much larger game.
That is an irritation to know that I've been lied to, but not unexpected.
And if I had to guess, she had assumed also a Romulan form and a Klingon form to get their cooperations as well for your parts.
I could see that being likely.
And I will also give the commander the information that I was able to glean during our search of the vice president's movements and stuff, and the most likely time that she was replaced.
Likely time she was replaced. That's a interesting theory.
Well, it does make sense with the facts that we now know, and in hindsight.
Well, those are certainly interesting accusations.
Would we have had like, say, body cam of like when we arrested the vice president?
Yeah.
She will replay the recording of what the vice president was saying when we were arresting her.
Okay.
And how she didn't even, try to disprove our accusations.
Okay, yeah. There's no disapproval though. It ends pretty much after the first shot by West, but you can repeat that a few times.
West shifts uncomfortably.
Well, that's different. Didn't deny it. Change of personality, all these things that you're saying certainly line up.
And it is not the first time that Starfleet or Federation officials, or even other government officials, have been replaced by members of the other universes.
Other universes. Personality shift and inheritors playing pawns. Certainly I can see how that's a concern to you.
If I may be so bold, have you noticed any personality shifts in your members around the time that the Vice President began to show that? Would I have to make a roll for that?
No. Well, as far as personality changes, I would say it's relatively shortly after. I'd say shortly after we got back from the Gamma Quadrant.
Oh, so you were part of that expedition.
I was part of it, yes.
Anything you could tell us that would be enlightening towards that? I tried to get information, but it's blocked.
Tried to get information, did you? Well, I don't believe that's where a conversation or negotiation lies. I believe it was active release and effective trade.
Well, so what do you say? Do you have an agreement, and do you need something else?
I don't believe we agreed on anything.
Huh. Well, how about this? We help you weed out people of your organization who are not who they pretend to be. And you give us some of our ships back. You
Almost
see
a
how
fair
it's
trade.
yeah, I see assets. And we'll add the vice president to that. Make it fair. Unless you want us to hold on to her.
Help us narrow out any potential shapeshifters or imposters. Is that what you're implying here?
Yes. I mean, I know that you hate having people who are not who they said to be in your organization. Who knows what they could do? They could probably leak out secrets to somebody else who is not me.
Captain, since I'm not part of Starfleet anymore, and likely will never be able to be, let me be very frank and clear here. You are offering to aid us, the Inheritors, who have attacked Horizon Station, who have defected, and who have committed atrocities upon the Federation. In addition to that, you're offering to trade out a political asset despite her actions. You are then further going to ask about trades of ships?
Yeah, I mean, fair trade, right? Unless you guys just don't want to, I don't know, probably want to torture her for the fact that she wasn't who she said to be, and she just set you guys out to be a bunch of fakers. And who knows where the will, and maybe she'll reveal the location of the real vice president. Unless you want us to handle that. Wow,
I
the
have a
torture.
feeling. I have a feeling the real vice president is dead.
Yeah, I got that sinking feeling too.
I'm merely pointing out all the things that you've offered, Captain, because what you're offering will destroy your career.
And keep in mind that there might be extenuating circumstances from the fact that you were misled by a member of the Omega Continuum into doing these acts.
Exactly. If we bring up that fact, they might go easy, and I might still have my career. Well, I'm sure I'll still have my career after all this is over.
The higher-ups are never that kind. In addition to that, I
Oh,
know
I
there will
know.
not be as much grace for me, as the attack on Horizon Station was part of my plan.
Yeah, but I said some of our ships. I never said yours was going to be one of them. Like maybe a couple Federation ships, couple Romulan ships, couple Klingon ships, just to ease the other species, you know?
See, that right there, you weren't even aware of it, and that's part of the reason why there's defecting. This negotiation has turned into more of a lecture and less fruitful.
I offered what I offered, you didn't put anything on the table. So, further negotiations a little one sided. Because you didn't offer anything that we wanted. I offered stuff that you wanted. Shouldn't that be fair that you offer stuff that we would want?
I'm going to do a quick scan with my tricorder and make sure there's no Omega funny business going on.
Okay. It's not even a high difficulty. There doesn't appear to be, no.
Okay, just making sure.
$72. I have 72 different higher up leaders and names that I can think of.
That are potentially Omega Continuum members.
Potentially, or at least allies or loyalists.
Are you aware of the Omega Directive?
Vaguely.
When the Vice President was on the station, she had installed a filter system to filter out the automatic detection of Omega. You might want to start with that. So any ordinary scan for Omega will come up negative. It will require a deeper scan.
That is helpful information.
And do be aware that, as you saw in the security footage, Omega Continuum members are much stronger than we are.
I will keep that in mind.
So much so that even the Q are afraid of them.
Fantastic. And I found one other thing, Captain, that I can negotiate as trade.
Yay. What are you offering that we can trade back with you?
I offered the names, but those are going to follow with a stipulation attached.
Which is?
Those of the Inheritors, as I am beginning to see that this is more of a ruse more than anything, if I am able to get various members of the Inheritors to defect from this branch, and I make no promises on that, however, if I succeed and send them to Horizon Station, they do so freely and will not be followed with any form of prosecution.
I will have to talk to my higher ups on that.
This is a decision for you, Fleet Captain, right now, right here. Deal or
Fine.
no?
Deal, but we keep the vice president.
I honestly, at this point, do not give a shit what you do with her.
Fine. We have a deal.
Good. That's a relief. She takes what looks like a polyandorian communicator and flips it. Tell all other vessels to stand down. There are a few beeps of acknowledgement before clicking it shut. Well then, Captain, you're free to go.
Alrighty then. We'll be expecting that information shortly. On your end?
I'll have my ship send it over as soon as we're both transported aboard each vessel.
I will stand up from the table and I will hold up my hand to be shook.
Definitely eyeing it cautiously before taking it. Probably someone who's been screwed over a lot.
Well, have safe travels back.
You as well.
I will tap my
it.
I will tap my combat and say, Phillips to Hera.
The one of the hazard team members actually. This is the Hera. You done there, hopefully?
Yeah, 3 to beam up.
Okay.
Just to double check, nothing funny has happened on the Hera, right, in terms of internal monitoring?
Nope.
Okay.
However, you do watch as quite a few Romulan ship variants decloak and go to warp.
Yep, that's what I was expecting.
I would have done that myself.
Once we've confirmed everybody's back aboard and everybody is who they say they are, we should get out of here.
Yeah, and I said, while that's going on, contact Admiral Vale on the way back.
Okay, you're easy enough to get a hold. Comes up on. Are you taking this in the Hero Ready room or just on the view screen?
Hero Ready room.
Okay. Coming up, and she looks a little surprised at the change in scenery through the screen. Out camping?
Well, no. Negotiation.
Negotiations. Well,
Yeah.
I'm guessing they took the bait.
Yeah, they took the bait. It went well. They're giving us, I think, what was it? Like 70 or 40 of their high-ranking officers?
The names of the...
There was the name of the officers. But the problem is, we can't prosecute them. But they're willing to give us the names.
They gave us the names, and they will have some members who are willing to redefect back to our side.
And we got some that will be willing to come back to our side. And they don't care what we do with the vice president at this point. Well, the fake vice president, anyway.
I've been on the way back to Earth. I've been in communication with Deep Space Nine, trying to get a little bit more information there.
Mm-hmm.
They did find remains upon knowing what to look for. As far as members coming back and not facing prosecution, I cannot promise nor can I guarantee that.
I kind of figured that.
But I expect that the fact that they had been duped by another continuum might lead to some lighter sentences for some members.
If it were any other admiral doing the prosecution, maybe. I don't know if I can
Guarantee that. Yeah.
anything.
You may have to recuse yourself, Admiral, for a conflict of interest.
I likely will. But as far as, before I do any such action, if you want to appeal any member who returns freely for some form of lighter sentence or non-prosecution, you would have to go to San Francisco Starfleet Command directly. My ship can be back in 15 hours. But I don't know if you want to do that. That's a challenge.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just happy. I'm just lucky my ship's still intact, because apparently she had extra ships. She had Romulan ships cloaked, waiting in case the negotiations went south.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing. I'm actually. I hate to say this. I'm actually proud that she did that, because she thought the same lines of what me and you were thought of. And what she don't know is I had you on standby.
I'm not sure that would have been a wise choice.
Sure.
Me showing up with a Titan-class vessel is likely to escalate, not de-escalate something.
No, I mean if it got worse and we end up having a shootout in space.
Well, we try to avoid those.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we avoided all that.
Captain, so I know how to prepare. Are you going to, or are you willing to make a travel to Earth to make a direct appeal?
If they come freely, and if I can pull that off, then yes, I will come to Earth and make a appeal for a reduced sentence. I'm just waiting on the names.
Can you have your exo in the ready room, please?
I tap my comm badge and I say, let's go to the ready room, please.
And she reports to the ready room.
Lieutenant Commander Notasky, are you capable of handling Horizon Station for, let's say, a week?
I should be able to. And I look directly, being at the Admiral with a knowing look. It is not the first time that I've been in command.
You're gonna keep
And
using that one.
does the captain see that look by any chance?
A little bit, but still kind of like one of those, like, wait, what? But,
But to be fair, Captain Phillips does know that Aleska is immortal.
oh yeah, for sure, but
Yeah,
still more of like a, oh. But, given all of that. Alright, Captain Phillips. When my ship returns, be ready. We'll depart again immediately back to Earth.
right.
There are very few things I can tell you about this man that are gonna get you on his good side, other than slightly aggressive, more by the book. And does not appreciate any form of insubordination, so tread carefully.
Right. So my senior staff knows about the temporary field promotion that you gave me.
Correct.
Yeah, so is that withstanding still, or is that still
That'll be
just a temporary
withstanding for
thing?
the time being. It'll give you a little more leeway when dealing with the fleet admiral.
Fair enough.
Not a lot, so don't push it.
Oh, I'm not. I got lucky this time. That's all I'm going to say. So we are heading back to Horizon Station. I mean, if we ever get the... Oh, did we ever get the names?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So we'll have the names transferred to a data pad. That way I can hand it over to the fleet admiral once I arrive in Starfleet in San Francisco.
Alright. That all being said, and all of that, cruising back to Horizon Station at not at maximum warp this time, more at a cruising warp speed. Skeleton crew. The inheritor problem seems to be slightly dying down. However, tensions are still relatively high.
I did have one thing. Has Aleska gotten a response back from Flint?
What was the message again?
Calling for an assembly of the council.
You do get a message back.
Audio or text?
It's just audio, and it is an active audio.
As in, like,
This is live feed.
oh, hello, old friend.
Certainly don't send out small messages.
Well, when potentially galaxy-wide events happen, sometimes big messages are needed.
Well, you got my attention.
We have a potentially active infiltration by the Omega Continuum, and, as well, the second point will be further down the road, a potential second coming of the Doomsday Machine.
Oh, shit, really?
But that one's further down the road, because the one I encountered was in the Andromeda Galaxy.
You're gonna have to explain how the hell you ended up there one of these days. I don't care to listen to it right now, but...
I will explain everything during the council meeting.
Well, I'm sure you got a lot on your plate right now, so just deal with that.
Understood.
We'll be in touch.
Eyes open.
Okay.
But she would have sent Flint all the information that she had gathered.
Mm-hmm. For Dr. Apricity, the medical bay in the Hera is a lot smaller than Horizon Medical, because it's just a sick bay. It's not very large, it's relatively unimpressive. However, I think now that you have a moment to yourself, and things are a little bit less hectic, you have time to ruminate on things that have occurred today. One in particular, your conversation with the Tholians and how it ended.
Mhm.
You do get a just like a ping that you can see, kind of like as your own vision overlay. It's a Tholian message, and it's dicey at best as the language to translation, as far as messaging works. But it effectively reads that no rush on the decision, but we would like to know within a month's time.
I don't think they understand how fast I was already crafting my resignation letter.
Well, you get to think on how that career affects your future. Cruising through the stars and back to Horizon Station to rendezvous to make an appeal. That is where we'll end this session.